Just waiting for everyone to join and then we'll get started. Happy New Year to you. Hi, Kelly. Get out. Sorry guys, we're just waiting for a few more people to join, then we'll get started. One sec, Holes. I'm just going to introduce and then I'll invite you on. So just bear with me. So I'm just going to get started anyway, just for recording purposes. Obviously, as everyone knows, we have these lives on our page, so I don't want to just be sitting here saying nothing. So I just want to say welcome back, everyone. We've had some time off, so welcome back to Talk with Peer to Peer. It's good to be back, and I just want to say a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. I really hope that this year is going to be a bit better for us all, but let's try and keep up the levels of positivity. I know it's difficult under the current circumstances, but we all need to try our best to try and keep ourselves uplifted and to also care about our mental health and think about our place in this world, and just do our best to kind of keep going and pushing through. So the topic of conversation today is going to be contraceptions. So we're just going to be kind of covering what contraceptives are. First of all, this isn't a lesson, it's just kind of having a chat. We're going to have our lovely Hollie come on again, who was actually with us. She's joined the live last time, so I'm really excited to have her on again. So as per usual, we're just going to have a chat and just go through what contraceptives are. I'm going to start with my statistics, as I always do. So 99% of women aged 15 to 44 who have had sex have used at least one contraceptive method. Now, this actually makes me feel really happy, and I was quite shocked when I read this statistic, because I don't know, so I feel like sometimes people get kind of in the moment, and I would say that people tend to prefer to not use contraception than they would to use it. So I was a little bit shocked by that statistic, but also happily shocked in a good way. And then the second statistic I've got is 71,000 women under the age of 16 visited family planning clinics in 2009 and 2010. Now, the maddest thing is that was literally that would have been just before I fell pregnant, or just before I had my son. I fell pregnant in 2010. So I would have actually been part of that statistic, which I think it's just a bit crazy. I think it's quite wild that it's 71,000 women under the age of 16, which is quite a big deal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have our lovely Hollie come on, just so we can have our chat. Here she is. I'm just going to stay with me, guys. Holes, if you've joined, oh, there you are, my
Hello, my love. How are you?
darling. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. How was yours? How was your entrance into 2021?
It was different.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was different.
Yep. Just stay at home, have a
Yeah,
drink.
there's not really much else to do. And then it's just like me and mum like, cheers. That's it. What about you?
What'd you say?
And what about you?
Oh, we just chilled at home, had a few drinks.
Yeah,
I was in bed not long after.
yeah. That's it, really.
Story of our lives now. But yeah, so today we're just going to kind of be going over contraceptives and what they are, and also I want to kind of find out and suss out even people in the comments, anyone who's joined the live. I would like you guys to post your questions as well and any of your answers. But just starting with you, Holes, what was your kind of first experience around contraceptives? Obviously, we don't need to go into like
Yeah.
massive stuff, but what was your first experience? How did you understand it? What was the first contraceptive that you were kind of exposed to?
Okay, so for those that have known me at all will know that I have the worst periods in the world.
Yeah.
I started my period when I was in year 6, so I would have been about 10. And that just gradually was consistently bad. Let's just put it that way. I was like missing days of school and stuff. So my first introduction to contraception was the pill, based on the fact that it was a way to help regulate my periods and try and make them less painful and less heavy. That being said, I don't think I actually started taking a pill until I was like 16, because it was just decided that it was, well, the doctor wanted to put me on the pill like straight away, and mum was like, no, she's too young, wait until she's a bit older. Because I think one thing that we forget is that at 12, 13, you're still growing, your body's still regulating, your hormones are still doing what they're doing. So that was that. So I was on the pill for a bit. I was on the pill for a while, actually. And then not really thinking about it as a form of contraception until later when I started having sex and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think people do, when they think of contraception, their first thought is preventing pregnancy and forget about preventing the spread of disease and infection, which is just as important, sometimes even more important.
Yeah. So that's why I just like thinking back to when we used to deliver lesson in was always fun. Trying to deliver these lessons talking about sex and making these students put condoms on plastic willies. Like that in front of a whole class. It was fun. It was really fun, but it's important to kind of try and drill it into their heads that what we're saying, as much as it is banter, as much as it's fun, we're actually being completely serious and deadly serious, and this is stuff that you need to carry with you. So just going back to what you've just said about preventing pregnancy as well as STIs or any kind of diseases or anything like that, it's called double dutching. So what we'd always talk to them about is double dutching, which is basically using a condom as well as being on a form of contraception, because then that protects you from both ways.
And it's using a barrier form, so whether that be like a dental dam, female condom, male condom, with a hormonal form of contraception.
Yeah.
Which is different from wearing 2 condoms, which you'd never ever do.
That will never work. That is never going to work. So just like with my kind of experience around contraception, I don't know if I'm the best person to be speaking to people about using contraceptives, but obviously anyone who tuned into my life before, I actually fell pregnant and had my son at 6. Well, I fell pregnant when I was 16 and had him at 17. And I think it's really, really important for any kind of parents, carers, siblings, whatever, older siblings, whatever you are who have joined this live, to just try and educate your kids as much as possible. Because when I fell pregnant, I didn't have any idea of what contraceptives were really, or the different types. Like my mum made me go on the pill because obviously she knew I was in a relationship with Kaya's dad, and so she wanted me to be practicing safe sex, but I wasn't taking it regularly. I wasn't taking it because I had the kind of mind frame like, oh no, I'm too young. I'm too young. That's never gonna happen. Do you know what I mean?
It's not gonna happen to me. Yeah.
It's gonna happen to me. So when it did, I was just like, oh, okay.
Wow. What do we do now?
Yeah, but I feel like I'm a prime example of why we need to be educating our kids as much as possible, and also making them feel. I know in every single live that we speak about making your children feel comfortable enough to come and speak to you, but when it comes to sex, it can be extremely uncomfortable to speak to your children about. Extremely uncomfortable. And I sit here and dread the day that I'm going to have to sit down and have that conversation. I've already said to Jake he's going to have to sit down and do it with me. Because I don't know what you say. I don't know.
No, you're 100% right there, because it's like there's so many levels to it, and it's, well, from what you just said, like not only do we need to make sure people know about contraception, but know how to use it properly.
Yeah.
Like I say, using 2 condoms at once, it actually makes it both of them ineffective.
Yeah.
Like using hormonal contraception, but like your other lifestyle choices, such as smoking or being on antibiotics or not taking it when you're supposed to, decreases the effectiveness of it. So it's not just here, choose one. It's actually
knowing how
lifestyle, like what type of sex are you actually having? Like, are you with a partner, or are you sleeping with multiple people casually? All those kind of things.
And especially for I mean, for both sides, but because condoms are normally kind of like the first form of contraception that you'd reach for. If you're not on any other form of contraception, you're going to kind of jump straight for a condom. And I think it's important for both the boy and the girl to know how it needs to be put on properly. Because the kids in the schools, if you put a condom on the wrong way, it will literally just slip off. It will just ping off. And you're like, oh my God. Some people don't even realise that it's popped off.
Yeah, some people don't even know that there can be an inside out.
Yeah, there's literally an inside out. And also like the basic things that we would speak to the kids about, checking for like the kite mark, making sure that it's
in date. Not just one condom that you picked up 5 years ago you've never used. You're like in Greece when he's like, I got it in the 4th grade.
Yeah. That ain't gonna work, Bella.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. So all those different things, or even like lubrication. You can't be like listening to your 90s R&B playlist and using baby oil, because it's gonna cause problems.
Do you remember the experiment we used?
Yeah.
Anyone in the comments, there's an experiment that we used to do when we were teaching in schools, and the experiment was we'd blow up a condom in the class.
We would have 2 condoms blown up.
Yeah, so we'd blow them up, and then we'd get one student to rub baby oil on one of the condoms, and then we'd get another student to rub just like a water-based lubricant on the other one. And you could see, you basically see which one popped and which one didn't, and the one that you rubbed baby oil on, that would pop, and the one that you use lubricant on wouldn't. So that just shows that there is a very, very, very high risk of that condom splitting if you were to use baby oil. And also, girls, having baby oil inside. And
okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to say, if you didn't, like, there's so many things that should and shouldn't be used in and around the vagina, and baby oil is very firmly in the shouldn't pile. Should not. But that's a live maybe for another day. But
all of these kind of things, they are going to cause you to get thrush, BV, make it sore.
Yeah.
I mean,
also, do you know, it's just saying that as well, just because we're on the topic of having sex and we're talking about vaginas, they're meant to smell like vagina. Like, don't be trying to make your vagina smell like flowers or peaches or all these different things, because those soaps are quite abrasive for your sensitive areas, and that will bring on first of all, it alters your pH, and then it will bring on things like thrush, which can be quite embarrassing if you're not sure what it is or how to deal with it.
Yeah. And also, I think it's really, really important. I mean, you'd obviously be kind of part of it because you've got younger siblings who are both male and female. So what I was actually going to ask what I was gonna say was, don't feel ashamed. Young people need to not feel ashamed about asking questions about if something's. I remember the first time I got thrush, and I was like, "What on
The hell.
earth is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
What is happening to me?" I literally felt like I had contracted some sort of disease. I was like, "No, what is this? I'm in so much
because you can
pain."
get thrush as well without having sex. So even though it's treated sometimes by the same people
Yeah.
that deal with STIs, it's not necessarily an STI.
I sometimes get thrush if I just wear jeans that are too tight,
Too tight.
or if I wear the wrong.
Yeah. And
Sometimes it really gets so.
and as people with vaginas, we have to be a lot more aware of what we're doing and what we're exposed to, because sometimes our partners, if we're having sex with people with penises, they can, and this goes for STIs as well, they can have the infection but not show symptoms of it.
Yep.
But vaginas are more sensitive and more likely to show symptoms. So
Yep.
it's definitely something that we need to be aware of.
Definitely. I just want to have a look in the comments quickly. So Lucy has said there's some really easy read books for just understanding things like period. My 9-year-old found that really helpful without feeling embarrassed or uncomfortable talking about it. Oh, amazing. That would be fabulous. Thank you so much, Lucy, because my little boy is actually 9 as well. And I feel like we're going to be getting to that point where we need to have the conversation about the birds and the bees. So I feel like a book or something that's a bit more informative would be easier and probably more productive
and
than
he's
me
smart
going
as well, so I can just imagine the questions like
That's what I'm saying. The thing is I asked him briefly. I said this in a couple of lives ago. I asked him briefly and I said, "Kai, do you know what sex is?" And he said, "Oh yes, when two people are kissing." So I was like, "Okay, he's still innocent. My baby's still a baby." So it's fine. But we will have to obviously get to the point of going into the proper ins and outs.
Yeah, because I saw a post today. There's an Instagram account that I follow, and they share really informative things and do a lot of myth dispelling. Called the Instagram handle is squirting isn't pee.
Oh.
And anyway, they posted something saying like porn isn't the problem, access to sex education is.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of going off topic a bit, but I think it does link in again with contraceptive, just because a lot of kids have so much access to the internet and their friends are talking about stuff. They might hear someone say something in a song, like, I don't know, I hit it raw, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, that's what you're meant to do. And it's like, no. That's not what you're meant to do at all. And it's just making sure that like people, especially young people that have information from left, right and centre, making sure the information they do have is correct and informative.
Yeah, definitely. And just I feel like, again, just on the kind of topic of speaking about sex, obviously 9 years old is far too young to be discussing about sexual health clinics and all of that kind of stuff. But anyone who's got older kids, like for you, for example, you've got younger siblings, but they're all coming of age. Do you know what I mean? They are kind of at that. I mean, Yasmin's probably at that stage, if anything. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like it's really, really important for you to, not even necessarily just for you, but for everyone, for all of us, whoever's got kind of young people, etc., to comfort them and make them feel comfortable enough to actually go to a sexual health clinic. And the thing is you don't even necessarily have to be sexually active to go and just get tested. Go and do it just to see what it's like, just to get it out the way, to say, right, okay, I've done it, so I know it's not this horrible, scary place and they're going to prod me and stick things in me and all of that. I mean, they obviously swab you, but it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be, because I was absolutely petrified to go to the sexual health clinic the first time. And I'm extremely glad that I did go and got it out the way. And I've been numerous times.
Yeah, I think that's really important as well. Like, you don't have to, if anything, you should start exploring contraception before you're ready to have sex, so that when that's part of becoming ready, like knowing what kind of contraception you're going to be on, because 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, you're not trying to have a child, and 10 times out of 10 you don't want an STI. So part of that process of are you ready is actually, do you know what steps you're going to take to protect yourself? Do you know where your clinic is? Do you know what times they're open? Do
Yeah.
you know, have you thought about what types of contraception you might want
Want to be
to
on? Yep.
be on? And remember, like, even the pill, there's like two different types of pill, and within that, there's like hundreds of different types of concentrations. I remember
Yeah.
I tried like 3 different types of pill before I gave up on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like getting to know your body as well, and what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But what I think would be interesting to explore, and maybe some people in the comments can get involved if they feel comfortable, is how have you found access to contraception during the pandemic? Because
Yeah.
everything closed.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people used to just go there and pick up condoms for free.
Yeah.
People could get tested, even STI treatment. Everything was gone, and everything became like through the phone. So what was like?
Well, before everyone in the comments, kind of, if anyone does want to comment, just chuck your comments in there anyway, and we'll say it afterwards. But just me as an example, I mean, I don't know if I should really say this on the live, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're all open, we're adults. So my implant actually ran out in February.
Okay.
But I physically cannot get it taken out. I've been calling and calling and calling. I called as soon as I kind of realised, I was like, oh my God, it's run out. I called probably around March time, and I said to my GP, is anyone, can I have my implant removed? I need a new one put in. I mean, I was planning on transitioning over to the pill anyway, just because I don't like the lack of control that I've got with this implant in my arm. It's like sometimes my periods are okay, sometimes I'm on my period for 2-3 weeks, sometimes I won't get a period for a whole month, and do you know what I mean? It's just all up in the air, and I don't like it. And I know you will still get some kind of irregularities with the pill as well, but I'd rather be able to just stop taking it if I want to, or in the future, like if me and Jake do decide to end up having a child, I can just take it, I could just stop taking it, and I'm like, right, okay, we can actually prepare and plan for that. But where I've got the implant, I mean, it's not as easy as just stopping taking it. Like I physically have to go. For anyone who doesn't know how an implant is actually put into the skin, so an anesthetic injection is put in your arm to just numb the area, then a small incision is made, and then they push, literally it's like a little thin bit of plastic, it's about that big, if anyone can see, it's literally tiny, and they just push it into your arm, and then you're basically this incision just closes up and it heals underneath your skin. But that also means that I can't actually take it out myself. I have to go and have the whole procedure done again, and they literally have to do the same thing where they numb it, make an incision and remove it in order for me to have it taken out. So my implant is well overdue, it's ready to come out. So
because so that's almost been a year now. I'm thinking February was 6 months ago. No, it's been almost 12 months.
It's nearly a year. And I haven't, and obviously we've nearly been in this whole pandemic situation for nearly a year, so it's not even like it's something that's within my control. It's literally out of my control. And whenever I've spoke to my GP, their response is like, we're not seeing anyone at the minute, we're not doing any removals. And I'm like, okay, but what about STI clinics? And they're like, well, you can call them and find out, but no one's letting anyone in.
I guess we're in slightly different trusts, so I guess you're in like Redbridge, Barking and
Behavioring.
So the Barts Trust, which covers Newham, bits of Tower Hamlets and bits of Waltham Cross, everything was on the phone, first of all. So for a long time you couldn't go in person to do anything. If you needed an STI check, they would send you like a self test kit for the post, or they would, to be fair, it was quite good. So if you called up and they can send you like condoms or whatever through the post, fine. But obviously there's some things that you need to do in person. So I think what they started doing was triaging people. So if it was like an emergency or it's like really urgent care, then you could go there, like you book an appointment, but you had to do your like temperature and stuff before you get there. The smaller satellite clinics were closed. So I'm not sure how that affected people, because you have to remember that people use these clinics for different reasons and also circumstances. So I mean, I'm very fortunate. I can go as I please. I don't have to worry about like I'm not in an abusive relationship. I'm not trying to keep anything secret. So,
Yeah.
but then I did think, oh, actually, there's going to be some people who this is actually really going to affect in different
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. So, I mean, on that kind of similar note, I also sit there and I question about, I know it sounds a little bit, it's a little bit deep, but what are like abortion clinics doing or stuff like that? Are they still seeing people? Are they still letting people in? And I just feel like essential things, what we're kind of considering as essential things, I feel like they're a little bit off.
Yeah.
And I feel like things like sexual health clinics, abortion clinics, walk-in centres, and I know they don't want to be overrun with people going in there with COVID, but I feel like it just needs to be made clear that if you feel like you've got COVID symptoms, you call 119. If it's to do with 111, or 119 is the actual direct line for COVID.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so you can call them to get a COVID test. Yeah, 119. Because when you call 111, they say if you're calling to book a COVID test, call 119. Hang up and call 119. So they have a direct line for you to be able to book in a test now. Yeah. But if it's to do with anything else, i.e. sexual health, i.e. access to getting contraceptives, i.e. access to being able to have contraceptives removed if they have run out, I would consider that essential.
Yeah, and I think I guess this is going a bit, again, we're going into a different kind of direction, but it's more like the understanding of what is important, what isn't, who's actually running, what do they look like, and who are the people who use those services the most, i.e. men or women.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say something else. Oh yeah, was it just me, or did everyone announce a pregnancy on New Year's Eve?
I don't know. I didn't see anyone announce it.
I had about 3 or 4 people
really
posted a pregnancy announcement on New Year's Eve. So this is why access to contraception is so important. Not saying that these people didn't want to get pregnant, but people at home with nothing to do.
And the likelihood of people getting pregnant accidentally under the current circumstances is probably higher than it would be on a normal day or during a normal time of the year, because people do have more access to contraceptives. They do have, and I'm sorry, but everyone's at work normally. Everyone's just chilling in the house doing nothing and haven't got anything else to do.
But then also it's like all of the students that would usually go and do workshops with, if they've had 2 years out of school, by the time they came out of school when they were 14, schools have been closed for the whole of 2020. Looks like schools are going to be closed a lot this year. So they're going to be 16, 17 and not have had any formal sex education.
Yeah.
That's
it's
mad.
Really good. I feel like this is why it's important for us to be kind of speaking to parents and stuff like that who have joined the live, or give them access to our services, because like I say every time, guys, we've got the workbooks. They're free of charge. We don't charge anyone for them. All you have to do is send us over an email or send us a message on the peer-to-peer website, and we can get them sent over to you. So if anyone's concerned about the lack of education that these kids have got when it comes to sexual health, we can send you over our workbooks. We can send them over. It has all the information that we would be delivering in a lesson, including all the activities. We can get that sent over to you ASAP. We normally say the age that it's suitable for, I'd say probably, what age did we used to do contraception? Was it year 10 upwards?
Yeah, sometimes year 9, so, and just depends on the school, but let's say like 13, 14.
Let's say like 13, 14, we'd say that it's probably more appropriate for those ages, not so much for the young people, for people younger than 13. Just because obviously there's pictures on there, there's information that may be a little bit too adult for young people, but if anyone's got any questions or anything like that, just please get in contact with us about the workbooks as well. But just like going back to you, Hol, so for anyone who doesn't know, Hollie's got a number of siblings, haven't you? How many is it all together?
5, so we're 6 as a total,
with you included. Have you found that you've had any conversations like like about kind of sex, contraceptives, anything like that?
To be honest, no. And it's funny because before you asked me to do this, I was actually thinking about it a couple of weeks ago. Because in fact, I don't know if he's still on, I don't think he is, but me and my brother were talking and he was like how he wanted an older brother. And I was like, yeah, I understand that because I'm the eldest sibling. So it would have been nice sometimes to have someone older to talk to. And then, because I said, yeah, obviously you would want to talk to him about certain like guy things you don't want to talk to dad about, or you might not want to talk to me about. And I felt like that could have been my little segue to, like, I thought about it, but then you're in the moment's gone because you thought about it for too long.
Yeah.
But no.
No. Do you feel like you would feel comfortable enough to instigate a conversation with them about it, or?
I think for me, I think too comfortable, and I forget that other people have their own comfort levels. Which is why I thought about it, because I don't want to. If you're in a classroom and someone says this is the topic for today, then you're kind of mentally prepared for someone to just give you all this information. But when it's your sibling or a family member and you're not really expecting a conversation, it's a bit like it can be a bit more detrimental than beneficial because you've caught them off guard and they might feel embarrassed or
they might like go in their shell a little bit, shut down, which completely makes sense. Because I look at it from my perspective where I've got a little brother as well, and I don't know. I mean, I'm very comfortable with my brother. I'll talk to him about anything. I take the mick out of him about if he's chatting to girls or anything like that. We wind him up. But when it comes to a serious, I think because I look at Renee and I still feel like he's so young.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like he's quite young in himself.
Yeah, like I can't put his age. So Faith just turned 15. And I think her and Renee are quite similar in the sense that when you think about other 15-year-olds, I don't put them in that category because in my head they're just babies still. Yeah,
it's difficult to try and detach from that because we were obviously similar ages when Faith was born and then when Renee was born as well. You've literally seen these babies from newborn. It's like when you're an older sibling like this, like I struggle to detach from the fact that I knew him as a baby. I still look at him like my baby brother.
But someone's just said as well, wouldn't you prefer that the information comes from, I can't see the whole thing, was it gone? Like to make sure they get the right info rather than it be awkward but come from a safe place, I guess they're saying. If I was younger, I'd prefer to come from my siblings than my mum or dad. Yeah, 100%. But I think it just goes to like making it comfortable for them as well. Like, just because I used to do this used to be my job. I used to talk to teenagers about sex. So for me, I don't really have to think twice about it, but I have to think about how they're going to receive it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I also feel like as much as I have a right to speak to that child about as their siblings, I have every right. But you also have to respect how their parents are going to go about it. Obviously, they might be our parents as well. But I look at my kinds of interactions around sex with both of my parents. It was completely different. So with mum, it was open. She'd speak to me about everything. Like she would question me and say. I remember once I had a trapped milk duct in my nipple, which normally apparently only happens when you're pregnant. I was not pregnant, but she obviously made me take a pregnancy test, and then I had to go to the walk-in center. The pregnancy test came back negative. I was not pregnant. It was just like a infected milk duct or something like that. But she was very open in the sense of that she'll just come and speak to me about it. She was the same with the girls. She started up this company. She used to go into schools and talk about herself, so she had to be chilled with us as well. But then you look at things with my dad, oh my god,
more opposite.
I couldn't even watch two people kissing on the TV in a film without me feeling riddled with just awkwardness and cringing so much. I'd literally look away from the TV like this. Oh my god, I can't believe there's two people kissing in front of my dad. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult to kind of know what approach your parents would like to take about it as well. And also whether it's my place to be the first person to be speaking to that young person about sex. Is it my right? Is it my place?
I hear what you're saying. I think, I don't know, because I think also we're at a point where we're more adults than that, more adult siblings and child siblings, if that makes sense. So it's not like we're necessarily their peers anymore.
Yeah.
I actually have a new grey hair here. It's called Rona. So I think, because also you don't want to be like a snitch and be like, oh, well, I was talking to so and so about this topic. But yeah, I think I don't think there's any harm in gently introducing a topic and identifying yourself as someone that they can come to.
Yeah.
Because just like in all our other lives when we've been talking, we've always been saying, like, not just as a parent point of view, but just as a trusted adult, young people need to have those people that they can go to talk to.
Yeah.
If it's not their parent, then it's like an auntie or an older cousin.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to get those influences from other people that are less positive.
I do also feel like, especially with Renee, I feel like Royston would be quite good with having those conversations with him because they are so close and they talk about absolutely everything. I don't feel like I would need to interject or even get myself involved too tough. But then on the flip side, I'd want him to feel comfortable to come and talk to me about if he was with a girl or
but you have to remember as well, like, just like as children, some people have awkward conversations with their parents about sex. Those children that had awkward experiences then have children and don't know how to have the conversation with children. So it's about, like, even from an adult's perspective, some adults might even feel that cringe and embarrassment themselves because they never had a positive conversation with an adult, or they're not sure what their child's going to say, or they might feel like they don't have the answers. And it's not about having all the answers. It's about open a conduit of conversation, of dialogue.
And also just, it may not even necessarily mean that you have to be completely open. It's just taking those little steps to making your child or your younger sibling feel comfortable enough if they were in a difficult situation or they were in a situation where they're like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? That they know that they can come to you.
Yeah, because I've walked into so many classrooms walking out of classrooms and the teacher's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming in. There's no way I could have done that. And these are like teachers that I've had 30 years experience sometimes of teaching.
Standing up in front of different groups of 30 kids.
Yeah, and I literally had just been doing it for, I think I was still in uni when I started working for peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be something that, even if you think that someone's strength, like talking in front of children or students, that's a topic that a lot of people find uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why we're here as an organisation, because I remember once I had a teacher who didn't actually even want to be in the classroom when I was delivering the session.
Really?
Yeah. I obviously won't say what school it was, but I had
because I was going to say, that's probably like a safeguarding issue.
Because of his religious belief.
Okay.
He didn't want to participate in the class. So he took me into the class, introduced me, and then he went and when he obviously realised what the topic was going to be, he was like, just excuse me for a minute. So he went out, grabbed another teacher, and another teacher came in. And I feel like that in itself is so tricky and so difficult because I don't want to be disrespectful to people's beliefs. I would never do that. And I believe that modesty and kind of the least amount of communication regarding sex in some religions and some faiths that's what they do. So on my dad's side, they're Muslim Pakistanis. And never in my wildest, it was even like, it was taboo to speak about underwear, like with my aunts, bras and knickers and stuff. It was like taboo. Oh my God, we can't talk about bras and underwears. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? It was such a big thing. So to even kind of try and comprehend
having a conversation with someone who has got such strong beliefs, to even kind of try and comprehend having a conversation with, but it fills me with anxiety and dread. It really does.
And I think that was definitely something that came up in lessons.
Obviously
all of our lessons, we approach them with respect for people, and we don't try and say that you're wrong or what you believe is wrong. But there's definitely a conflict between people, from young people all the way to adults, who want to engage in certain behaviours, but there's certain beliefs around other things. So I think most religions have a thing about sex before marriage. Most people do have sex before marriage, but then there's another thing about contraception and how that's a barrier to life, is God given. And so choices, being informed so that you don't end up in a tricky situation. And even with your partner, making sure that you and your partner make those decisions together, so that you're not left in an undesirable situation on your own.
Definitely. I mean, with me and Jake, for example, we've had conversations about it, but I think it's really, really important to speak to your partner, and just making sure that when you do get in a new relationship, you both just go and get tested. It takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes out of your day for them to actually do it. You might have to wait around in the waiting room for a little while, but just go in and get in. I mean, people really do believe that because you're in a relationship and that person may not potentially be having sex with someone else at the same time as you, that means there's no potential STIs. And you're forgetting that that person has been with other people before you and may not have any symptoms or anything like that.
No, I can't see the rest of your so you were just saying how
my phone keeps on ringing.
So they've changed the Instagram live format. So I'm trying to scroll up and I can't see the comments. Certain communities have such a lack of knowledge about sex that they begin to think things that are untrue, e.g. thinking anal sex saves your virginity so you can still marry.
So that is a massive thing. And that was actually not necessarily an issue, but there was a number of girls in school who would go to the park and be having anal sex because they thought that that was not sex. And it's just because it's not broken. What was it? Is it to... what's it called? Your hymen. Your hymen, that's it. So just because it's not broken your hymen, it doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't just engaged in sexual activity.
Yeah, and that's a whole problematic view in itself, because your hymen can break from multiple different things, even that without even having sex. And to have to hold that in such high regard into your value, I personally disagree with, and it doesn't really reflects on your sexual activity, your sexuality, anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was definitely a big problem, as Hina said.
In Redbury schools, it definitely was. It was a big problem because there was a number of girls that was it, and also they're practicing unsafe sex because they're not educated. They're then having anal sex, probably not using protection because they're scared of going to the chemist to get it, of fear of getting caught. They're not going to go to a sexual health clinic because they're like, oh my god, I shouldn't even be having sex. So they're probably having unprotected anal sex, which just increases your chances of contracting some sort of STI.
Yeah, that's dread. But what I
was in a park.
Say about with your partner is that it's so important that you understand the types of contraception. So whether it's, if you're having sex with someone with a penis and they're using a condom, that you understand what a good condom looks like, what a bad condom looks like, and how you should use a condom. Equally, if you're having sex with people with vaginas, you understand what the pill means, you understand what an implant is, and not just, even though you should trust your partner, but still having an understanding, because at the end of the day, it's two people engaging in this activity. If you don't understand it, then you can't also look out for yourself.
Can I also just say, I know we're going to be having a completely different live talk about STIs, but just to confirm, with anyone who is engaging in sexual activity with another female or same-sex same-sex intercourse, you can still contract STIs. You can still contract an STI if you're a female, and you can contract an STI from another female. If you're a man, you can still contract a STI from another man. So
I think, in fact, that is more to do with different types of sex, and that penis and vagina sex is not the only way to transmit STIs. You can get STIs from giving head.
Yep.
You can. So people don't talk about it, but you should be using either dental dam or a male condom for those things.
Yep.
If you don't know what a dental dam is, it's like a sheet of like plastic, basically.
And it's minty.
Yeah, you can get flavored ones. And again, with the flavors, just be careful, okay? Because if you're sensitive, then that can cause kind of reaction.
Definitely. So what I would just want to cover before we start wrapping up, because we've got about 5 or 10 minutes left. So I just want to kind of go through quickly. I mean, Holes, by all means, just chip in. I just want to kind of go through the different types of contraceptions that there are out there that are easily accessible. So obviously the first is a condom. That's like your go-to. You know that you can buy them over the counter, or you can go to the chemist and get them free. For anyone who doesn't know as well, that I don't know if it's still running, but you used to be able to get a com card.
It is still running, very limited. Sometimes the stockists are out of date. Superdrug used to do it. I'm not sure if they still are.
Okay, well, if anyone is potentially interested, just have a look online, see where's still offering the Comcard service. So this is literally just a card that you can take into chemists or Superdrug or anything like that, and you can actually get free condoms.
And that's for, I believe, under 25s. You can obviously get condoms. You can even get condoms on Amazon if you don't want to go into the shop and buy them.
Get them delivered.
If you're allergic to latex, be sure to request a latex free. Skin is a good brand that's latex free. So if you are having sex with someone and they tell you that they're allergic to latex, so that's why they want to use a condom, don't have it. Go and get a latex free one.
Listen, that's a standard.
The excuses. We're not having that in 2021.
Yeah. So then obviously we've got the different types of pills. So you've got the combined pill, you've got the mini pill,
you've got progesterone only pill.
Progesterone only pill. So there's so many different types of pills that you can try and use. You've got the implant, which is what I've got. You've got the injection, you've got the patch, you've got the female condom, you've got the IUDs, you've got the IUSs. So they're obviously two different coils.
And even with the coil, you've got a non-hormonal version. With the hormonal version, most STI clinics now, they have 3 types of concentration. So there's a new one, I think it's called Kyla, which has the least amount of hormones. So for me personally, when I don't like to have too many hormones in my system because my body doesn't react very well to it. So these are the questions that you can ask when you're going to get these things fitted. Don't just take the first thing that they give you. Have a conversation.
And it's also so important to remember as well that not any one contraceptive is right for the same person. So it's okay to explore the numerous different contraceptions that there are out there and just try them all. If you feel like something isn't working for you, get rid of it, try something else. That's not working, get rid of it, try something else. There's so many different forms of contraception that you can actually access and be able to use to just see which ones work for you.
And what I would definitely recommend is Googling it. Like you can find the leaflet that they give you. You can find that on the internet. So if you're interested in having a coil fitted, for example, type it in IUD leaflet and you'll be able to read about it before actually getting it fitted, because at least then you're not under pressure to make a decision in the doctor's office there and then.
We also have information that you can access through us as well. As per usual, we're going to be posting up all the different services that you can access. I mean, in a pandemic, I'll be completely honest and completely real, I don't even know myself what services are still open, but it's still important for you to just check it out. Go online, you'll be able to see which ones are still open, which ones are still taking patients. Obviously it's different in different boroughs, so I know in Havering at the minute and Barking and Dagenham they're not seeing anyone, but there's always ways to try and find out if there is like a triage, what you said, like a kind of situation where you can book an appointment to have it done. I need to actually look into it myself as well. So
I would even make that a consideration when you're thinking about types of contraception. Like, how often do I have to go to the doctor? Because if everything shuts down again and you can't get it updated, is that going to cause a problem? Or, for example, if the world does open and you're going back to work or going back to school, how often are you going to have to, for example, go and get an injection? Or can you get something fitted that lasts for 5 years? These are all different things that you need to be thinking about.
Yeah, and also about how long I know how what you've just said, how often will you need to kind of go and get, but also checking how long each of them lasts, to just make sure, because obviously all of them have different times that they so it's important to go on to do your research and make or better for you. Sorry, did I just cut out?
Yeah, a little bit, but you think you're saying which one is better for you, essentially.
Yeah, so just try and just having a look and seeing which ones are, if you need something that's more long lasting because you know you're going to be able to get to the doctor on time, then obviously I'd probably recommend something like the one which lasts for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
The coil is quite long lasting. Oh, haven't you got a coil that lasts 10 years?
Yeah, that's Skylar, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, you can get different. Basically, the point is that depending on your lifestyle, depending on your current situation, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're not, whether you're sexually active or you're just trying to have something hormonal to treat acne or period problems, whatever it may be, think about yourself and what works for you, not just what the doctor offers you first time round, and make sure you understand what that means for your body and the side effects.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, darling. Well,
So just one more thing before I go. Hormonal contraception, if for whatever reason you feel like you might be at risk, maybe you have been drinking alcohol, you've been taking antibiotics, you missed 2 days of the pill, please, please, please use a condom.
Yeah.
In fact, just use one anyway.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, just want to say thank you again, Hollie, for joining us.
You're most welcome, my love. It was nice to chat to you and see your face.
Yes. So yeah, we'll definitely catch up. As we previously mentioned, guys, anyone who's joined and you want access to our free resources, please get in touch with us and we can get those emailed over to you. Next week live is, I think we're going to be doing STIs, so it kind of links in with contraception that we've been talking about today, but we'll be going into a bit more detail about the different STIs that there are out there.
So I guess if you have any specific questions, send peer-to-peer a DM so that we can answer them next week. I say we, I've just invited myself onto your Instagram.
Come on, you're coming on next week. You better keep your Thursday free. Oh no, it won't be next week. It'll be the week after. We're doing the fortnight, you guys. So next week, Thursday after.
Okay, brilliant. Wicked.
I hope everyone has a lovely rest of the week and a weekend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Bye.